So there is a story, and this story is about Professor John Murray. In 1872, the Challenger expedition was conducted, and John Murray was the head of that expedition. He was the leader of that expedition. So Murray was the first geographer or a scientist who discovered the ocean deposits and provided a classification of it also. Ocean deposits are comparable to the soil layer or the sedimentary layer which we have over the continental crust. So much like the soil which covers the continental crust, there is a thick layer of sedimentary loose material rolling over the ocean bed, ocean bottom. That is called ocean deposit. Ocean deposits are sedimentary, loose materials, much like the soil. So what Murray writes, I think you should pen down also. You must write also in the introductory part of ocean deposit. But give me some few more minutes for explaining the topic also. See, the ocean bed or the bottom of the ocean is not rocky. It's not rocky. It's uneven. It's undulating. It has several topographical variations. It has a very complex configuration. It has mountains, it has ridges, it has hills, it has trenches, it has guyards. I mean, it is brindled with a variety of landforms. Ocean bottom is not like your pond. It's not like your lake. It has live volcanoes. It has rifts. It has trenches. So it's an amazing a complete maze of geological mysteries. All the geological researches actually have to be conducted over the ocean bottom because most of the continents are largely static. Nothing much is happening over the continents. But the ocean floor is very much live, and ocean floor is having all the geological expressions which are related to the Earth's internal structure or the Earth's interior. Now, having said that, this ocean deposit, in the simplest terms, is the thick mantle of sedimentary loose material which have been either derived from the terrestrial region or from the ocean bottom itself, or they are some cosmogenous deposits, or maybe they are precipitates or the product of the hydrochemical reactions. So all these or maybe the biogenous, biologically derived after the death of the animals and the secretion of the lime or maybe the silica from the outer shell of the some of the aquatic animals, the biogenous deposit and the hydrogenous deposit, the terrestrial deposits, the cosmogenous deposit, the volcanic deposits, all are in abundance over the ocean bed, and they all make a very complex matrix of sedimentary layer which is covering or which is rolling over the entire ocean bottom. So what we are going to learn today is the nature and structure and origin and even the classification of the ocean deposits. Most of the questions have been asked on the classification and the genetic causes of the origin of the ocean deposits. Even questions have been on the classification, and the classification is based on either origin or their composition or maybe their distribution or the depth at which they are found, right? So this topic has some geological implications as well, and we have to learn here the hydrogenous processes the biogenous processes, the terrigenous processes, the cosmogenous processes, and maybe the sub-oceanic processes, which are all correlated to the formation of the ocean deposits. So I hope you have now got acquainted with the ocean deposit as a topic, and you understand that what all we are going to learn today, right? Let me tell you in one line, if you are joining me late or if you are not able to comprehend the initial speech, then please learn that ocean deposits, in the most simplest term, is the thick mantle of sediment which covers the entire ocean bottom. Now these ocean deposits are actually composed of the precipitates and the turbidites and the evaporites, or maybe we can call it the hydrogenous material. Hydrogenous meaning those which are born out of hydrochemical reactions. Fine. So they are product of hydrological processes or hydrochemical reactions which are taking place within the ocean or the sub-oceanic region, sub-oceanic realm, right? Now, second set of ocean deposit will be terrigenous. Now, terrigenous meaning terrestrial region, derived from the terrestrial region. So all those materials which have been derived from the terrestrial region will be called terrigenous material. So maybe the sea waves are eroding the coastline, maybe the winds are blowing the loess and deposited in the ocean, maybe the rivers are bringing sediments and sand and silt and clay and depositing over the ocean bed. So maybe the wind action, maybe even the glaciers are scratching the regions over which they flow, and they bring down they pluck the material, they pluck the rocks, they bring the moraines, they bring the coarser materials from the mountainous region or high slopes, and then deposit them into the ocean, like it is being done in the Norwegian Sea or Greenland or Iceland, especially in the polar regions, or the Antarctica also. So the movement of the glaciers can also be responsible for the formation of ocean deposits. So we have hydrogenous, we have terrigenous, then third will be biogenous deposit. Biogenous meaning those which have been derived from the aquatic lives. Now aquatic lives can contribute in different ways. One of the ways will be once they die, the biological material, the biomass which they have, it is deposited over the ocean bed. Then second, as living entities, they also secrete lime and calcium carbonate or maybe silica oxide. So they secrete calcareous material, they secrete siliceous material. So all these materials also eventually, finally, are buried into the ocean, and they are found as deposits over the ocean bed. So this will be called the biogenous. So we have A, the hydrogenous deposits, B, the terrigenous deposits, C, the biogenous, and then we will have fourth the lithogenesis से भी material मिलता है. So we can call it lithogenous. Now lith meaning rock. Now these rocks could be either terrestrial or oceanic rocks. The ocean bottom is also composed of basalt. The ocean bottom is also made of a set of rocks called gabbroites and basaltic rocks. So when these rocks are eroded, then also material will be derived. So from the sub-oceanic rock system, even materials are derived. So they also will be called lithogenous. Lith meaning rock. So lithogenous materials we have. And the fifth and the last one will be the cosmogenous material. So what are cosmogenous materials? Cosmogenous materials will be derived from the extraterrestrial world. Maybe the comets, maybe the meteors, maybe the meteorites, or when the meteors fall in the ocean or meteoric dust will fall in the ocean, they are called meteorites. So meteorites, the comets, the asteroids, the planetesimals, the initial elements which form the the grains which form the planet, they are called planetesimals. So you will find planetesimals over the ocean bed. Their composition will be largely Fe2O3. And many iron rich hai wo log. The extraterrestrial deposits, the cosmogenous deposits are iron rich. And we can easily identify them. So these ocean deposits have actually, on the basis of their genesis, on the basis of their sources, are classified into 5 groups. Which 5 groups? Give me back. Or rather, I am giving you once again. So one is heterogeneous, right? B, terrigenous. C, biogenous. D, cosmogenous. E, lithogenous. So we have 5 types of ocean deposits. Now this was orientation for you. This was the warming for you before the topic begins. But we need to study another classification which is more popular, and which was this biogenous and terrigenous was given by Murray. But today we don't subscribe to the Murray's classification, even though we study it, even though it has its own value. But the recent classifications are mostly based on the structure and the occurrences and at which depth they are found. So they will be classified as neritic deposits or pelagic deposits or volcanic deposit or something like that. We will do that. So the first classification, biogenous, etc., was by Murray, and we will move to the second classification. But we need introduction, and you have to write something, because optional classes is not about only speeches, it's not about only understanding, it's about how you write and how you project your answers, how beautiful words you can craft for your examiner. That is what will fetch you the best marks, right? So now tell me, write something whether how many could understand this initial lecture, this initial discussion.